The night sky shimmered with bursts of color as everyone stood together watching the fireworks. Bright lights scattered across the darkness, drawing the attention of the crowd. Ria admired the display and excitedly pointed out how beautiful the fireworks were, suggesting they move slightly to the left for a better view. But when she turned to look at Dana, she noticed that the child still looked sad. Ria gently reminded her that she had already said she was not going anywhere. Dana hesitated, still worried, and tried to speak again. Ria teased her slightly, asking if she trusted that troublesome boy more than she trusted her. Dana quickly shook her head and insisted that she trusted Ria the most. Even so, she asked again for reassurance, wanting to hear clearly that Ria truly would not leave. Ria smiled warmly at her and reassured her once more, saying that there was no way she could leave when Diana was this adorable. At that moment, Ria noticed Lucio approaching them. Her thoughts halted the moment she saw him. Lucio seemed as though he was about to say something important. He began speaking, but before he could finish, the Duchess suddenly called out to him, interrupting his words. She reminded him that the fireworks had ended and questioned why he seemed distracted. The ball was about to begin, and she urged him to hurry. Lucio then said that he would escort them to the academy gates. Hearing this, Ria's thoughts drifted to the mention of the ball. In her previous life, such an event had been far beyond her reach. But this time would be different. She imagined a future where she would be wealthy enough to receive an invitation herself. If that happened, Lucio would have to attend as well, and the thought made her wonder who his partner for the dance would be. Her thoughts were suddenly broken by Alan shouting her name. Startled, Ria reacted in surprise while Dana instinctively clung to her protectively. Alan scolded her with strong concern, insisting that a man's looks were not everything and warning that chasing someone simply because he was handsome would only lead to regret. Inside her mind, Ria sighed at his persistence. He was still going on about the same topic. With playful stubbornness, she replied that she would still rather choose a handsome beggar than an ugly rich man. Alan was immediately shocked and demanded to know who had taught her something like that. As Alan continued questioning Ria about her strange statement, another voice suddenly spoke from nearby. Alan immediately turned toward the direction of the voice. The Duke had arrived. He looked around calmly and remarked that it seemed the festivities were already over, asking everyone if they had enjoyed themselves. The moment Ria saw him, her thoughts burst with excitement. In her mind, she recognized him instantly, a man who was both handsome and incredibly wealthy, just as expected of a duke. Alan, however, was still focused on Ria and continued calling out to her, trying to get her attention again. The Duchess stepped forward and asked the Duke what had brought him there. The Duke explained that he had come to pick them up since the area was becoming too crowded, suggesting that they should head back. The Duchess quickly agreed, realizing that the carriages would soon have difficulty passing through the crowd. She then turned to Lucio and thanked him for accompanying her and guiding her around the academy that day. Alan and Dana both said their farewells to him. Alan wished his older brother to take care, while Dinah sweetly said goodbye as well. Ria also stepped forward and politely told Lucio that she would be leaving now, too. As she turned to walk away, Lucio suddenly reached out and caught her hand, stopping her. He seemed about to say something important. Before he could continue, Ria quickly spoke first. She nervously explained that she had been studying hard, just as he had once instructed her to do. She went on to say that she visited the library every day and was following everything he had told her diligently. She assured him that she would take good care of Diana and asked him to trust her. In her mind, Ria believed that Lucio had simply wanted to check whether she had been following his instructions properly. She felt he must still be worried, and she sincerely wished that he would place his trust in her. Lucio fell silent for a moment, clearly taken aback by her words. After a brief pause, he simply responded and released her hand. Inside her thoughts, Ria reflected on how every previous encounter with Lucio had only shown him her most embarrassing sides. That had always bothered her. Yet now she felt that perhaps this moment marked the beginning of rebuilding the trust between them. With that small sense of relief, Ria climbed into the carriage to leave. Inside the carriage, the Duke suddenly commented on what he had just witnessed, pointing out the ridiculous expression someone had made earlier. The Duchess laughed in agreement, explaining that this was exactly what she had meant before. Sitting quietly with them, Rhea felt confused and wondered in her mind if something amusing had happened that she had somehow missed. The carriage continued moving forward until it disappeared from sight. Back at the academy, Lucio remained standing where they had left him. A faint blush spread across his face as he reflected on the moment, quietly criticizing himself for how pathetic he felt. After a moment, he turned and walked back toward the academy library. Inside, Askal was still at his desk when Lucio approached him. Askal noticed his return immediately and asked why he had come back instead of going directly to the ball. He guessed that Lucio must have returned after seeing his family off. Lucio confirmed this with a simple response. Askal then began speaking about Lucio's siblings. He mentioned that although he had seen Alan several times since he was little, it had been his first time meeting Lucio's youngest sibling. He remarked on how much the child resembled Lucio, noting that the two looked almost exactly alike. Askal also commented that he had seen the Duchess again after a long time and observed that she had not changed at all. Thinking further, Askal added that he had not seen the Duke in many years and mentioned that he should probably visit and pay his respects soon. Lucio remained silent as he listened to everything Askal said. Finally, Lucio spoke, telling Askal to stop dwelling on these matters and return to his room. Askal apologized. Lucio began to walk away, but before he could leave, Askal called out to him. Lucio stopped and looked back. Askal then asked if he could come visit Lucio's house. Lucio responded with a small smile and refused. In the Bellis dukedom, the quiet corridors of the residence echoed softly with footsteps as Countess Bianca walked along, holding a letter in her hand. The envelope bore a familiar signature, Rhea. As she looked at the name written on it, a thought crossed her mind. She had been worried before, wondering if asking Rhea to write a letter might have been too difficult for her. Yet seeing the neat writing now made her realize that the girl could read and write perfectly well. In fact, Rhea seemed even sharper than Bianca had expected. Curious, she opened the letter and began reading its contents. The very first line addressed her warmly as the most wonderful countess in the world. Bianca could not help but laugh softly at the affectionate greeting. Though Rhea might be clever, that cheerful and exaggerated praise reminded her that the girl was still a child. Just then, footsteps approached from the corridor. A voice called out to her by name. Startled, Bianca turned at once and addressed the speaker respectfully, recognizing the presence of someone of royal status, and said, "Your Highness."
Hi, this is Winter. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to Winter Manhwa for more exciting recaps every week. Your support means the world. See you in the next one.